It's been a hell of a year for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I think I have a couple of different opinions about tier lists now, whether it's because I played characters for a week, or the meta changed, or certain top players have shown that the theory of people doing well is a little bit more than just theory. So we're going to be going over the tier list, starting with bottom tier, going all the way up to top tier. So from the bottom up, we have bottom tier, low tier, mid tier, upper mid tier, because there's not really a clean way to do this in Smash Ultimate where you don't have some type of like weird middle ground tier. High tier and top tier. So starting from the bottom up, of course, we have Ganon. I think he is by far the worst character in the game. He doesn't have a good neutral, he doesn't have a good disadvantage, he has an okay advantage except for the fact that you can drift away from him. He has mediocre ledge trapping, he just kills you. He kills you real hard. He like murders you. It is scary, but he's bad. He hasn't really got a meta development recently, so it's the same thing as always. And that's going to be it for bottom tier. Ganon is the only bottom tier, in my opinion. I think every other character is significantly better than him. Speaking of which, a character that I low-key struggle with, I lost in a tournament to them this year, that's going to be Zelda. I think Zelda is quite bad. I think that while I personally am bad versus this character, that doesn't mean the character has tools. They have consistently struggled forever. We do have wine, we do have results for this character, right? I literally think every character from here has results, which is like an insane thing to think about. I just think that Zelda is really bad. She's super slow, she has a really bad disadvantage, she has Phantom, which is really good. Phantom by itself is better than Ganon, but then like that's kind of all she has. She has like up, a shield, she has like a mediocre reflector invincibility thing. Character's not great, and again, this character in my opinion has had some development since the last tier list, but I still think she is eh. And I misspoke a little bit. I said that every character above this has results, but I don't really think this character does outside of Wi-Fi, and that is King Dedede. I think King Dedede has had very few optimizations. I think the character is just a lot of neutral and a lot of never dying, and hopefully you get an air up air or a back air and get a kill. This character is quite slow, quite bad. The recovery is good. The ledge trapping can be really scary as this character, which is the reason, in my opinion, he's better than Zelda, because Zelda takes a little bit more time to start a ledge trap, but Dedede just has like a Gordo, and that's good versus most characters. Just not a very good character overall, but not bottom two, so we take those. I think I put Dedede bottom two on my last tier list. If not, whoops. Next up is going to be, of course, a character we all know and love that is low tier, and we love Peanut. It is Little Mac. Peanut's Little Mac is so sick, but Little Mac is still not very good. Tadakotori has put in mad work. Peanut kind of stopped playing recently, hasn't played in a while, at least from what I have seen. But either way, this character can be very threatening. I made a video on a Little Mac from Europe, actually pretty recently, beating Nader and I forget the Orion. So again, character has results, not a ton of results, but has results, very fast on the ground, super armor, killing, confirms. There's a lot of scary stuff with this character, including being off stage as him. That's the scariest thing, actually. It's scarier than anything he can do offensively, which is the reason why he's down here. You know, you can't be a character with a good disadvantage or a bad disadvantage and be a good character unless everything else about your character is so good, and Little Max isn't. Up next is someone that will be kept away if you eat one apple a day, and it is Dr. Mario. Obviously still relatively bad character, but again, I think is a little bit better than bottom four. You know, Pill is a good move, good up, he had a shield, scary with killing. Again, the issue is just his disadvantage, right? He has Cape as a Beerverse at best, but he has not a lot of airspeed. His offstage game is really, really bad, and he can't really get off of the ledge either. So Doc is still scary, has some niche good matchups in top tier, like not necessarily winning, but like pretty, like it's scary to fight him, mostly being, Pikachu and Fox actually does pretty well versus those characters, but like struggles with swords, struggles with anyone that can deal with Pill super well, and so that is why Doc is down here. Again, has some good stuff, but not enough good stuff. Like all these characters have good stuff, they're just not good enough as all the good characters. Like these are at least like 5.5 to 6 out of 10s, you know, like Ganon's a 4. These are like, if you're gonna rate them out of 10, 5.5 or 6. But there's just like a ton of 8s, 9s, and 10s basically. Staying with theme of characters with bad disadvantages, we are going with the Belmonts. Again, Richter and Simon are the same thing. If you put them separately on your tier lists, you're weird. This character though, very strong neutral, right? The neutral is the very good thing about this character. The ledge trapping is also quite good with them, between Holy Water and F tilt and F smash and down smash and side B and like neutral B. There's a bunch of traps for this character, but the problem is they're too not mobile in the air. If they had like any airspeed, not even even for the recovery purpose, but just like once they jump, you know where they're going to go. So if you can avoid the forward air, if they are wrong slightly, like once, it's just like, oh, well, that was it. And now you're going to get hit, and you might get hit off stage. You have to like risk down airs, but it's not even like down air. It's very funny. Down air doesn't even necessarily get you at a disadvantage because like he bounces on the shield or he bounces on your head. So like unlike Zero Suit, who's even if you are right about down air and she doesn't disadvantage, she lands on the floor. The Belmonts don't, so you don't necessarily end up back on the ground, which means you still have less resources, which means it's still very, very scary. That was on nothing as of late. He doesn't really play anymore. And like there's no Belmont to take his place. Like a few characters in this tier list have risen because it's like, oh, this was like a theory thing that actually came true, or like stuff that like got, you know, found out that people didn't really know existed before. It's like, oh, well, that's like really good for that character. Whereas the Belmonts are kind of the same. None of them are doing well enough in majors. And the last character in low tier is going to be someone that actually has pretty decent results right now, especially in the past like month and a half, ironically, and that is going to be King K. Rool. Brujo had a great run at whatever tournament was in the Northeast. I don't remember what it was called. You know, you have a couple K. Rools doing well online. You have Lukewarm whenever he enters does well. You have Brujo has done decent at other events as well, but I do want to mention that you can still win with a low tier in this game. That's just what happens. K. Rool is still a very linear character, right? You have Crown and, you know, neutral B for your neutral. You have strong moves like up tilt and F tilt for like very fast hits, which is really nice, but he doesn't really have combos, right? He has like 2 or 3 pieces, and he has like crown mix-ups for game or for like stocks and stuff like that. But I think overall, this is just a patience check, and the character's not actually good. But again, good enough. Like, hey, you have edge guarded. Oh, you got a spike. Oh, you got like a, you know, you scared someone and got jab, jab, crown up air. Like, that's really cool. But like, I don't think it's enough to justify putting him higher. And that's actually going to be it for low tier. I think every other character in this game is mid tier or better.
But ESAM, that's not how, you know, distributions work. It's not a normal distributions.
This isn't a normal game, and so that's just what happens. So that is going to be it. What do you think of the relatively small, low, and bottom tiers? Do you think Zelda's bottom 2? That one's probably going to get some opinions because Wine has been doing very well, and I've actually been covering the Zeldas recently. But yeah, as always, social media and partner stuff is down below. Don't forget that new tier lists will be coming out, so I will see you all next time. Peace.